You might be breaking Japan's new travel rules before you even land, and most visitors don't even know they've changed. In this episode, we're decoding 10 things you must know before flying to Japan. Japan processes over 30 million visitors a year, and their entry system is built for speed. But only if you know how to use it. That's where Visit Japan Web comes in. It's not a premium service, so you don't need to pay for it, and it's not advertised heavily, but it quietly acts like a digital fast lane through immigration and customs. Before your flight, you go to the official site, fill in your customs and immigration forms, and get a QR code. When you land, you show it at digital checkpoints instead of filling out paper forms or waiting in long processing lines. After a long flight, skipping paperwork and kiosks can feel like magic. The business logic is simple: efficiency. Every minute saved per traveler gets multiplied across millions of monthly arrivals. But there's a catch. The system only stays fast because most travelers still haven't discovered it. If it became mainstream, the speed advantage would vanish. That's why the government doesn't push it aggressively. And here's where Japan gets strategic. The platform naturally filters in the kinds of travelers the country wants. People who prepare in advance, use tech confidently, and are likely to spend more. You're not paying for access, but your behavior earns you an upgrade. Just make sure you're using the official site. In June 2025, Japan's digital agency warned about scam websites charging fake processing fees. The official site will always end in .go.jp. If it doesn't, don't use it. You'll also find the links in the video description. But don't go clicking yet. We've got 9 more updates that are just as important. Visit Japan Web is one of the easiest wins you can lock in before your flight. But even if you breeze through immigration, there's still one thing that catches travelers off guard, and it's usually sitting right in their bag. You've made it through immigration, grabbed your bag, and then customs pulls you aside. That beef jerky from your layover? It just shut down your trip before it even began. Japan's prohibited items list looks straightforward, but the details catch travelers off guard. Meat products include jerky, sausages, and anything with animal ingredients. Even ramen with meat flavoring, cookies with beef extract, or vitamins containing gelatin. The most common issue? Homemade foods. That half-eaten sandwich triggers a seizure because customs agents don't consider intent. They check ingredients. Enforcement has been ramping up. As one traveler posted on Reddit, beef jerky is not included in "they usually allow all processed foods, so leave it at home." Then there's counterfeit goods. Fake designer items don't just get confiscated, they can result in entry denial. Counterfeit goods in Japan are a big deal. Customs officers are trained with brand databases and authentication tools from the Japan Patent Office. Is it likely you'll be stopped for a fake Gucci bag? Probably not. Should you risk it? Up to you. But the biggest surprise for many travelers is wildlife-related items. A crocodile leather wallet or tiger print scarf? That can count as wildlife trafficking. Japan treats it as a serious offense. Even medications can be high stakes. Some prescription meds legal at home are controlled substances here. Without advance approval, via the proper process, you risk seizure or worse, detention. When in doubt, don't pack it. Customs agents have all day to examine luggage, but you only get one chance to enter the country. And once you're in, the shopping rules get a lot more complicated. You've probably seen a lot of people talking about this change in their videos, but none of them are giving you the specifics, so here it is. Duty-free shopping in Japan is about to become duty refund shopping, and most tourists have no idea what's coming. The current system, where you pay reduced prices up front, dies in November 2026. The new system requires you to pay full price first, then get your tax refunded when you leave the country. The operational change is massive. Instead of getting a discount at the register, you'll pay full retail, including the 10% consumption tax. Then wait in customs lines before departure to prove you're taking the items home. Only after that will the refund be processed through the new national system. Several changes are already in effect. As of April 1st, 2025, you can't mail duty-free items home. Only store arranged international shipping qualifies for tax exemption. And here's the shift no one's talking about: cash flow. Most tourists budget for tax-free prices, but starting in 2022, you'll need to cover the full price up front and wait weeks for your refund. That's not the same as getting the cash back right away. It changes how you plan your shopping haul. There is, however, a positive update. The 500,000 yen daily limit, about $3,500 on a consumable goods, disappears. So if you want to stock up on cosmetics or snacks, go ahead. Just prove you're taking it all home. On top of that, Japan's government is debating ending the tax-free system entirely as part of broader tourism reforms. The good news? That hasn't happened yet, but it's in discussion. But make sure to subscribe so you're the first to know when this actually happens. For travelers, the message is clear. Enjoy easy duty-free shopping while it lasts. After 2026, every deal will come with paperwork. And since tax-free shopping is about to involve paperwork, delays, and a lot more planning, you might want to double-check something even more basic: your internet access, because Japan has plenty of Wi-Fi signs. But that doesn't mean you'll actually get online, at least on your phone. Tokyo looks like a hyper-connected tech paradise, but land in Narita, open your phone, and you'll see the gap between design and delivery. Yes, Japan has public Wi-Fi, but in most places it's slow, unreliable, and heavily throttled, especially in crowded zones like Shibuya, Shinjuku, or Kyoto Station, where everyone's trying to load Google Maps or translate a sign at the same time. Most public hotspots were built for occasional email use, not modern app-heavy navigation. That's why smart travelers ditch Wi-Fi entirely and buy mobile data up front. SIM cards, eSIMs, or pocket routers, any of them will save your trip and are really reliable. But before you fly, online pre-orders from companies like Sakura Mobile or Mobile offer better deals than airport counters. You'll skip kiosk lines, avoid activation delays, and hit the ground running with full signal. If you have a recent iPhone, eSIM is the best option. You scan a code, activate instantly, and never touch a SIM tray. But here's the curveball. Japan's official Suica transit app only works on iPhones. Android users are locked out. So if you're relying on public transit, you'll need a physical IC card. And that's where the airport chaos begins. You land, you clear customs, and then you hit your next surprise. The line for transit cards wraps around the terminal. Every guidebook says, buy a Suica or Passmo card at the airport. What they don't say? So did everyone else on your flight. Welcome to your first unnecessary delay in Japan. Narita and Haneda have limited vending machines, many of them cash only. If you haven't exchanged money yet, you're stuck in 2 queues just to ride a train. Here's the smarter move. Skip the airport. IC cards are available at every major train station with shorter lines and full English support. Same card, less chaos. And here's the good news. After a long freeze due to chip shortages, unregistered Suica cards are back as of March 1st, 2025. No passport, no data entry, just tap and go. Prefer extra safety? Registered Suica cards resumed in September 2024. They take longer to set up, but let you reload online and recover funds if lost. Just don't count on your phone to save you. The Suica and Passmo apps only work on iPhones and a handful of Japan-only Android models. If you're on most Androids, you'll need a physical card. And if you're trying to buy that card at the same time as 2 incoming flights from LAX and Incheon, you're losing an hour. Don't let guidebooks trap you. The airport rush is avoidable, and the fix is simple. Get your card where the crowds aren't. And while we're talking about avoiding airport crowds, let's decode the currency exchange game that most travelers get completely wrong. In Japan, and honestly in almost any country, exchanging money at the airport is rarely a good idea for large amounts. Rates are almost always worse than what you'll find in the city. But there's still a smart way to use the airport without getting burned. The trick is to grab just enough cash so you can move without stress. Skip the manned counters with their inflated tourist rates and head for the self-service exchange machines. They're open 24/7. Update yen rates every few hours using Bank of Japan reference data and adjust based on supply, demand, and time of day. All you need is about 10,000 yen per person. That's enough for your train into the city, a couple of meals, and some cash for small shops that don't take cards. Once you're settled in, you can switch to better city rates or ATMs for larger amounts. For ongoing withdrawals, neobank debit cards like Wise, Revolut, or Monzo work well with 7 bank ATMs found inside almost every 7-Eleven, as well as at Lawson and Family Mart convenience stores. which are literally everywhere. These ATMs run 24/7, have English menus, and the conversion rate is applied by your neobank, not the ATM. And while cards are widely accepted in tourist hubs, the reality is that even in central Tokyo or Osaka, you'll still find the occasional restaurant or shop that is cash only. When that happens, you'll be hunting for an ATM instead of enjoying your meal or making your purchase. Planning ahead saves you from that scramble. Sorted your cash? Good. Now, here's how some travelers are turning their Japan trip into a months-long stay. If you've ever dreamed of staying in Japan longer than the standard 90-day tourist visa, here's the upgrade most travelers have never heard about. Japan has quietly launched its digital Nomad visa, a legal way for remote workers to live here for up to 6 months. The program is limited to nationals of about 50 countries, including the United States, Germany, and South Korea, and it comes with strict requirements. You'll need to prove an annual income of 10 million yen, roughly $67,000, with tax certificates to back it up. Your work also has to be for a foreign company in fields like IT, software development, digital design, or online secretarial work. No side jobs for Japanese firms allowed. On top of that, you must have private medical insurance covering at least 10 million yen for illness or injury, which functions like domestic health coverage, not just basic travel insurance. Why offer it now? Japan's government wants high-earning professionals who will spend locally, boost the economy, and leave when the visa ends, without competing for domestic jobs. It also closes a legal gray area. Before this program, many remote workers stayed on tourist visas while quietly working online, technically breaking the rules. Now, if you qualify, you can do it openly, bring family members on dependent visas, and enjoy Japan's world-class infrastructure, fast internet, and lower living costs than many Western cities. For some, 6 months in Japan is worth the paperwork. For others, the high requirements feel like too much effort for such a short stay. And if you think the visa fees and insurance are steep, just wait until you see what might be added to the cost of leaving Japan altogether. You may not know it, but you're already paying a fee just to leave Japan. About 1,000 yen quietly built into your airline ticket. It's not much, but it adds up fast, pulling around 60 billion yen a year, or about $400 million. But the government is now debating a major hike, potentially tripling or even quintupling the fee to 3,000 or 5,000 yen. The extra money would go toward managing over-tourism in hotspots like Kyoto or Hakone, funding further crowd control, environmental protection, and local support services. Other countries already play in this range. Egypt charges the equivalent of 3,750 yen, while Australia asks for 7,000. Japan's goal isn't just to raise funds. It's to subtly shape behavior. Higher departure costs won't deter determined travelers, but they might discourage short, low-spend visits, pushing tourism toward fewer but higher-value guests. And here's where the timing could sting. This increase might hit right when JESTA becomes mandatory, stacking extra fees on top of the paperwork. But don't worry, we're covering that next, so you'll know exactly what's coming and what JESTA is about. You might think you can just book a Tokyo flight, grab your passport, and head to the airport. But soon you'll hit a wall before you even get to the gate. The same way the US uses ESTA, Japan's new JESTA will pre-screen travelers from visa-exempt countries before they fly, and airlines won't board you without it. The timeline matters. Japan originally targeted 2030, but the Justice Minister says the rollout is being moved up to fiscal year 2028. The government calls it a Japan version ESTA, designed to tighten border control and smooth arrivals, and the more tourists arrive, the faster Japan wants this in place. This isn't some optional travel form. It's a government pre-screening for 70-plus visa-exempt countries, including the US, most of Europe, Australia. Basically, most tourists Japan gets every year. It'll be online, cost a small fee. The US ESTA is $21. And ask about your job, your trip purpose, and where you're staying. No approval, no boarding pass. For spontaneous travelers, this is the real shift. Last-minute Japan trips could vanish overnight. And yes, the launch might align with that departure tax increase we just covered. Translation? 2 new costs, same trip. And since we're down to the last one, here's the final thing you should know before arriving in Japan. You may not think twice about your power bank, but in Japan's skies, it's one of the most tightly watched items on board. That's because on January 28, 2025, a lithium battery fire on Air Busan Flight 391 injured 7 passengers and forced an emergency landing. Within days, Japanese airlines rewrote their rules. The basics sound straightforward. Power banks must be in your carry-on, never checked luggage, and most not exceed 160 watt-hours. But here's the part catching travelers off guard. Batteries can no longer be stored in overhead bins during the flight. The reason is simple physics. If a battery overheats in an overhead bin, crew can't reach it in time to stop the fire. At altitude, those fires can hit 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit and release toxic gases in seconds. Flight attendants are trained to spot and reposition any bags containing batteries before takeoff, which can delay departures if passengers need to dig through their luggage mid-boarding. For travelers, this means a new packing strategy. Keep batteries in an underseat bag or in an easily reachable pocket. It's not about convenience anymore. It's about quick access if something goes wrong. Because in today's aviation safety playbook, a $30 power bank can ground a $200 million aircraft. And Japan's airlines would rather slow boarding than risk an emergency at 35,000 feet. You just got the 10 things to know before arriving in Japan. You're not guessing anymore, you're ready. If this helped, like the video, subscribe, and share it with anyone flying to Japan soon so they know exactly what to expect. Now you can focus on adding ramen spots, shrines, and neighborhoods to your list, and let this guide handle the boring stuff. You just decoded it. This is Transit Code.